Hello there, ICS2O folks. We're going to do a lesson today, a little lesson on flowcharts, whatever that is. Well, we'll know soon. Um, and we're going to take a little note. We are going to draw a few pictures, in which case I usually use Smart Notebook, but it doesn't have to be. I'm going to use Google Docs just to try and show you that it doesn't matter what program you use. You should be comfortable with all sorts of software. So I'm going to go into my Turing notes. Turing notes. This is actually not as organized as yours is, but I'm going to make a new Google Docs, and I'm going to call it. And if you're using a different word processor, you call it something else whenever you're ready. Whenever you save flowcharts, and then what I'm going to do is a title here. I'm going to blow this up so you can see it a little bit better. That's going to be better. And it's 3_7 flowcharts. And you should put today's date on your note. And here we go. So flowcharts are used to have a visual representation of what is going on in a program. We didn't really worry about that too much in Scratch because, geez, everything was visual in Scratch. The program itself was very visual, and we could see what was going on. But not so in Turing and in other languages. It's nice to have a picture to try and understand what's going on. So we use flowcharts to do that. And how I'm going to do this, and I'm going to show you some of the symbols that are used in a flowchart. I'm going to do this by inserting a drawing, and it happens to be in Google Docs. The shapes, actually, some of them are quite a few of the shapes are these ones down here are actually flowchart shapes. We're not going to explain all of them, but we're going to explain some of them. The first one here, I just click and drag to make a new shape. Put them on there just so we can see that. It's a rectangle, right? Another shape, and if you're using a different thing, this might take you a little while to draw a rectangle, but it doesn't really matter. This next one is like a diamond shape. Looks something like that. I'm going to put that underneath my rectangle, and then later I'm going to describe what these actually do. Next, I'm going to have an arrow. That means something in a flowchart. So notice I just clicked on the line and then I clicked on arrow. You might have to draw a little line and put a little arrowhead on the end there. That's fine. And I'm going to talk about what that means. And another one is a parallelogram. Something like that. Running out of room on my drawing here. Maybe I'll move everything up so I can. There's only one more shape I want to talk about, and that's this one right here. This one here, which might be tough for you to draw. It's kind of like a circle that's been stretched. A circle that's been stretched a little bit like that. Okay, kind of looks like a pill. Then I'm going to go save and close. And so that pounded those pictures in there. Now I want to talk about what those mean. In order to get text next to it, I need to change this this picture. And if I wanted to change the picture, I could just double click on it. But I'm going to click on wrap text. So now I can actually put text right next to it. So the rectangle is rectangle. It shows a statement or a process. It's just like one piece of code. The diamond shows a decision, which, if you remember back in Scratch, the diamond shape was some sort of condition or decision as well. So that's consistent. the arrow, what does the arrow show? The arrow just shows the flow of executed statements. So the flow of control of the program. And that was hard to see in Scratch because, well, I guess there were no arrows, but when one block was connected to the next block, that was the flow. But it was kind of back and forth and all over the place. This will help us get a picture about how to do it. Parallelogram. Parallelogram. Hopefully I spelled that right. It shows data exchange, like input or output. In general, anytime we output something to the screen or input something from the user, we use a parallelogram. So that's a lot of the stuff we've been doing right now, but it can be used quite a bit. So what does the rounded box show? It shows the start or end of a program. And that's it for flowchart diagrams. So what does this mean? Well, our programs so far in Turing have been pretty boring. Oh, by the way, save this if you're not using Google Docs. You'll need to save it. Remember, Google Docs saves things automatically. What I want to show you real quick is kind of what our programs would look like so far. And they're, and you don't have to do this part. I'm going to insert another drawing. So we'd have just because our programs have been so small and short, we'd have the start. And notice that if I double click in there, I think I can put some text in there. Yep. And then the next thing that I'd have is whatever my statement was. Maybe I'd have something like, and you don't have to do this one. You can if you want to, if you're interested. Get number from user. I'll make that. Can I make that text smaller? Maybe not. Oh well. If I stretch this, I bet you there. That looks okay. Get number from user. And then what was the next thing we did? There we go. We might have just a process would have been something like generate a number between 10 and 60. This is my cadence program from the other day, isn't it? Generate a number between 1 and 60, and then so on. It was basically, it was one thing then the next. This sequence. Something like your flag program was, draw a line, fill it in, draw a line, fill it in, draw a line, fill it in, and we'd use either this for input-output, this for process, but soon what we're going to be using is that symbol for a decision. Your program makes a decision, or somehow we're going to get the program to repeat things, and then we're going to have a harder time figuring out the flow of the flow of control of a program. And these shapes, even for our easy programs, it's not that hard to figure out what they're doing. Output message. Move this over. There we go. And then stop. Right? That would be our whole program. It wasn't, but we got the idea. Control. I'm pressing Control and then clicking and dragging to copy. Stop. And that might be a whole program. Well, it's going to get more complicated soon, and then we're going to need to do some planning before we do our programming, and these flowcharts will come in handy when we have to plan. All right, that's it for the flowcharts note. Remember to save if you're not using Google Docs.